Carlos Rodon, I asked the question in our chat, how are we ever going to possibly trust this man to start a playoff game? And I don't think I'm ever going to be comfortable if his name is penciled in as the starting pitcher of a playoff game.
July 1st, I agree with you. July 1st of 2024, after we saw last year, after what we're seeing over the last, 3 starts from him? I mean, really.
It goes back a lot further.
I know it goes back further.
I have the numbers here on 2 starts, 3 starts, and 6 starts, and also his expected numbers for the season, which are rapidly approaching his expected numbers from last year when he was absolutely awful.
Yeah, which is really concerning. So the answer is no, you cannot trust him. You cannot trust him. I can't trust him. I don't know what I'm going to get from him on a daily basis. And here's the other difference between him and Marcus Stroman. This guy gets blown up in the first inning, and then it just continues. So like he can't put out the fire and just continues. Not
according to Boone. He gutted through 5. Gutty performance.
Bullshit gutting through 5. Like I tweeted out around this, like they need to ride him for 120 pitches. Like he needs to wear this.
Why is he coming out of the game now? Like what's the point?
Yeah. Well, and yeah, exactly. So when he came out and Rodon was like, "No, I don't want it." Like, am I looking at that? Be like, "Oh yeah, he really wanted it. Like he's such a good guy. Like he's gonna fire." You let up 8 runs.
He just wanted to hold him at 8, Scott. He didn't want it to go any farther than 8.
You know, to his point, like I've already done this far. I'm pitching a little bit better. Let me ride out the inning. Like he's out. He is right. I'm not.
Yeah. Then send him back out for the 6th too, because it's you're losing the game anyway. Save some bullets in the bullpen.
What was he? 110 pitches or just shy of that?
No, I think it was just over 100. I think Boone came out at 99.
Yeah.
And so maybe it was close to 110.
It was around there. So but early on, I'm like, this guy's got to throw 120 pitches. I don't give a fuck if he lets up 30 runs. Like the game's over. They're not coming back in this game. Just let him wear this and save the bullpen, because there's 3 more games after this against the Blue Jays, a division opponent that you need to play. So you cannot expel the bullpen because of this bullshit start. Like he's got to wear this. Like, and in moments, some people might look at that and be like, "Oh yeah, that's like, why would you do that? That's ridiculous." Like, no, it's a team thing too. Yeah, you the game's over. You have 8 runs in the first. Like, you need to extend the start. I don't care how many. This is a punt game at this point anyway. You need to get your pitches in, and save the bullpen for what you did. Figure it out.
So I know there was some weird hits in the first inning.
Yeah.
Was it a broken bat single, and then the ball up the first base line that hit the bag. But then he allowed the 3-run home run to Springer, and then he allowed the 3-run home run to Springer. Again. So last 2 starts for Rodon, 8 2/3 innings pitched, 21 hits. 21 hits in 8 2/3, 15 runs. Last 3 starts, 28 hits in 13 2/3, 20 runs. Last 6 starts, 39 hits in 32 innings, 26 runs. His expected ERA for the season is now 4.61. Last year it was 5.34. So it's not like close, but it's getting there. His expected ERA is 4.6. This is continuing to trend in the wrong direction. Even when his actual ERA and all those numbers look good earlier in the year, the underlying metrics were never as kind to Rodon. And you made the point a few times, he's pitching with such big leads. The Yankees offense is always scoring for him. Maybe he's just trying to throw strikes and whatever. Whatever it is, his season is trending in the wrong direction. And I don't have a comforting feeling when the ball is in his hand.
Yeah. Like, you pulled 2, 3, and then 6 starts. To be fair, the last 6 starts, it's heavily weighted by the last 3 starts. So I don't know if I'm using that number.
I pulled last 6 starts because...
but it's the majority of that's in the last 3.
That was the month of June.
Okay,
that
fine.
Was basically going back to his first start of June.
It does really go back to the last 3 starts more so. The ones before that, if you look at those numbers, I don't put them in the same bucket as the last 3 starts. The last 3 starts have been egregious.
Yeah, they've been egregious, but my point is it's not like he was an amazing pitcher and then he just hit a wall.
No, but in the 3 starts that you're after the last 3, he gave up 11 hits, 6 runs, and significantly lower. So I don't think the first
one of the games he didn't give up any runs in 5 innings, and the other ones I think he gave up 3 and 3 in 5 innings.
So to me that's where I need him to be struggling. I need him to be struggling, giving up 3 runs over 6 innings.
Struggle and give up 3 runs over 5 innings instead of losing the game in the first inning.
Yeah, this goes back to like the streakiness of the batters that you keep calling out. Like have and this is where Marcus Stroman, again, going not to beat a dead horse here, but the fact when he's bad, usually you see that type of thing. You see him still grind through a start. Carlos does not do that. He's either all or nothing, it seems like. He's a streaky pitcher, and that's not good.
The starting pitching overall is the second negative. The glaring thing for me, I pulled these numbers. In June, they averaged 5 innings per start. That's 18th in Major League Baseball. If you look through May, so the first 2 months of the season, they averaged 6 innings per start, which is 4th in Major League Baseball. You might be saying, oh, it's just one more inning. What's the big deal? When it's every single night, you're averaging an inning, 3 outs fewer. That means your bullpen has to get 3 more outs every single night. That adds up so quickly.
Especially when Phil Bickford and Michael
Cousins.
Tonkin and some guy named
Carl Cousins. What's his name?
Magikowski, or whatever the hell his name is. Like, I'm frankly like at a point here. I'm looking at these names. I'm like, God damn, I don't think I've ever seen that name before in my life. Like, this is not a prospect that's coming up. These are people in that have been picked up off waivers and then dumped into Scranton and have been there for 3 days, put a uniform on, got a bobblehead, and now we're up here. It's like, I don't know what we're doing.
No, I know the bullpen. Okay, that'll just segue into. We'll talk about the starting pitching and the bullpen in tandem here as the negatives. The bullpen combined numbers now: 14th in ERA, 20th in FIP, 21st in innings pitched, 19th in strikeouts per 9, 21st in walks per 9. All of these numbers were much higher a month ago.
They were top 5 before the month, yeah. Right? Before June.
It's just comes down to there's not enough talent in that bullpen to be good. It's not 100%. Just the Bickfords and the Fergusons and the Cousins. Like, even the good guys.
You just named half the bullpen though.
No, I know, but like Tonkin has been one of their best relievers this month. The guy who got picked up, let go by the Mets, picked up, let go by the Mets, picked up, let go by the Twins. That's
Look,
been
if anybody doesn't think that there's a pumpkin behind that mustache, like I got a bridge to sell you, because
so Tonkin has been good. You're going to count on Tonkin to continue this? Weaver has been good. You're going to count on Weaver? And Clay Holmes has been struggling after being really good in the first 2 months of the season. The rest of the bullpen,
struggling. He's been terrible. He's not been struggling.
Terrible.
He's been bad.
But like you're not getting rid of Clay Holmes. He's hopefully going to be in the bullpen plans for the rest of the year. Tonkin, I expect to suck at any point, and Weaver, I expect to turn back into the pumpkin that you think Tonkin is, right? And
I think Weaver's got the best ability here to be a quality reliever for way more time.
The rest of the guys in this bullpen, I mean, Marinaccio, we've seen for a long time.
He's gone.
I know, but like
Dennis Santana, gone.
He's back. And they're up, gone. They're up, gone. They're up, gone.
Turd Ferguson, I have no idea how he's still on this team, but it's purely because there's a body that needs to be in the bullpen at this point.
And what is Tommy Kahnle's role?
I don't think anybody has a role. That's the thing. Clay Holmes is the only one that quote unquote has a role, and he's just doing it really poorly right now. So I don't think anybody has a role. When you ask about what someone's role is, it doesn't exist because they don't exist.
I asked because, what was it? What game? I think it was Friday's game. That was the game that they were down 3-1, right, in the 5th inning before the 3-run homer by Soto.
That was Stroman's. The Yankees fell down 3-1.
And Stroman gave up 2. Didn't Stroman give up 2 in the 5th? I believe
they had a 6th run, 6th inning.
No, but Stroman. It was tied 1-1 entering the 5th inning, I believe. Okay, and when it was tied 1-1, Tommy Kahnle was warming up.
Yeah,
and then the moment Toronto scored to make it 2-1, Tommy Kahnle sat down, and I think I forget who got up, and I'm just like, well, so Tommy Kahnle's good enough to pitch in a tie game, but not a game you're losing by 1 run in the 5th inning. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, when a game is within striking distance on either side, to me, I want my best guy
in the 5th inning. It's not. Yeah. It's not like.
Well, I think it was probably too early for Tommy Kahnle to pitch, given the level.
Well, then why was he warming up when it was 1-1?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I have no idea what's going on in that bullpen right now, because
Is it the number one concern on the team? Absolutely.
100%. It's been the number one concern for me ever since spring training. This has been a mirage from day one. Like there's no this had a very low chance of working.
You called it a trash heap.
The names that they trotted out on opening day for the bullpen were unrecognizable for the most part. They were not names that you have confidence in. Like straight up, bottom line, like that was by far the biggest concern for me. And I think even from the beginning day, we're looking at like Brian Cashman's going to have to be aggressive in the bullpen because there's no way that these guys are going to last. And all that's been happening since opening day. Yes, they had a very good start to the season, but the numbers were, like we called out, like a little odd. There were a lot of like.
It was a high contact bullpen that was getting outs, which is never going to last.
Your eye test does not say like this is a lockdown bullpen. This is not what it felt like at all. And so early on, we're like, Brian Cashman's going to have to be aggressive here. And the names have just gotten worse and worse and worse. And injuries have happened. And I know that Scott Efros is on his way up. I have no idea he hasn't pitched in 2 years, it seems like.
I know. That's the thing. Everyone's counting on Scott Efros to be elite. I'm like, the dude's coming back from like a season and a half long injury. What can you possibly expect?
There's a lot of guys that are, a couple of guys that are coming back that to me are still very much unknown. And yes, 100%, like Brian Cashman, this is the place where he's going to have to be aggressive because there's just a Scranton shuttle that's happening right now in the bullpen with guys that are not major league pitchers.
Yeah.
There's no depth at all. There's not even depth on the current roster.
No, they're journeyman AAA pitchers that you can tolerate one of in your bullpen, not half your bullpen made up of them.
Yeah, that pitches on like a travel day.
He comes up to like, oh, my starter got crushed today, so we're gonna need this guy to pitch 45 pitches out of the bullpen tonight, and then he gets sent back down and bounces around another 3 minor league organizations.
Yes, when Carlos Rodon gave up 8 runs in the first inning, that's when that guy comes in and finishes the game off, and everybody else is like, all right, we're on to the next thing. But that guy is now pitching in the 8th inning of a 2 to 3 run game, one way or the other.
Crazy.
Yeah.